بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. این ویدیو راجع به قولی بود که دادم قبلا تو ویدیوهای قبلی. کتابی که قراره بنویسم خیلی یواش پیش میره ولی تازه داره یه استراکچر پیدا میکنه، یه چند تا چپتر شده، یه سری موضوعات کاور شده. خواستم یه ریویو کنیم چیا داریم و همچنین به عنوان جورنال پیپر دارم میخوام تحویلش بدم یه مؤسسه ای. فعلا هنوز موفق نشدیم. خب اینجور شروع میشه، چند تا پرینسیپل. اول اینتروداکشن میشه، چیزای خیلی مهمیه که اینا اگه مشخص شده بود ساینس در این زمان اینقدر بیراهه نرفته بود برای مثلا تایم دایلیشن و این چیزا که همه اشتباه هست. اگر این پرینسیپل ها محکم بود این اشتباه ها نمیشد اتوماتیک. شماره یک راجع به اسپیس و تایم میگه اسپیس اینفینیت این سایز، از اول بوده و همیشه هست، نه کرییت میشه نه دیسترب میشه نه دیستروی میشه. و تایم هم پراپرتیشه، یعنی هر چیزی که در این اسپیس غیر از اسپیس هیچ جای دیگه نیست، هر چی هم که تو اسپیسه تایم رو فالو آف تایم میکنه. ولی اینجوری نیست که بتونی یه اکسس جدا داشته باشی کمباین کنی با پوزیشن اکسس، اون اشتباهه. space time together is a fabric of universe maybe, but time and space cannot be our same type. The second principle talks about what? There's only one field responsible for all the elements and forces. Quantum field called. Only one field. We have a picture as some prediction as how it's gonna be. Quantum field it consists of, there you go, consists of elements, cells. Each cell consists of 2 pixels having opposite polarity, plus and minus. And the next scale it comes to electron and positron, and the next scale neutron, and so on. And this is the lowest scale, Planck scale. They're very small and they are everywhere. It's what they call the free energy and all that. They're talking about these things. So there's only one field. That's the field. It's gonna cover everything. All electron field, proton field, quark field, you name it. Every field, you name it, is just what it is. When elements placed in this field, around the field, they get converted to the, if it's proton field. If it's electron field. But the rest remains quantum field. Just around the particle. Or a magnetic. I'll show you what's happening with magnet later on. In third principle, in every event, there is always exchange in a state rather than just change. They draw electric field. I can't even remember, but from one goes to other. Well, is electron. They can assuming electron is going to be from negative to the positive goes always. So this is the one-way flow of energy from negative to positive. What is I'm saying is not like this, including everything, all of them. There is both way, both direction. If it's an electron moving this way, it's a positive charge moving this way. That's my prediction. Which is supposed to be symmetry. There is no solid ground exists. There is no solid ground exists. Matter is energy-based entity. So there is no real solid matter. Even the one for you feels solid, even including metals, including alloy steel and all that, they're not really solid. There are degree of flexibility. There's a certain level they play, you can push it in, but they're very hard compared to other ones. But in theory, doesn't exist. This absolute solid doesn't exist. There's no absolute invisible possible. We're not gonna get to this. We're not gonna need this in this discussion probably, but good to know. If there are some invisibles, they would be visible in a different phase. So they can be absolutely invisible. So if you extend your vision frequency, for sure you cover them, all those invisible, you will see them. Color brought to us by matters. A spirit can judge on this better, because it seems like they don't see the color. So the color has no meaning for them, just for the matter world. As long as we are in this body, it matters. After that, doesn't matter. I should have mentioned this first. There's a mistake. Antimatter. You know how they say matter, antimatter? Antimatter, very wrong label they put for positron. That's first. And then they try to expand it to the higher level. Proton, antiproton, and that is not working like that. Only in that level. At the level of electron, you can call it antimatter opposite. When you go further up, it's a combination of both. It's not fundamental anymore. Then we go talk about the spin. I describe a spin as the intrinsic property as they mentioned, but in a different way. It's a breathing of a particle. When it comes to the high level, like neutron also got a spin, but it is a group in a group particle. It doesn't have. In the fundamental level, your spin can be drawn like a very simple sinusoidal wave. But when it comes to the high different level, because it's combined of many of these, it still follows some real periodic, but it could be a different shape. No more smooth sinusoidal. So this is about variation of the for the charged particle. It just covers one side of the x-axis. If it's an electron, it goes to the negative side, shifted to positive side for positron. When it's combined, like photon is a combine of electron positron, which is covers both. So when the energy varies by time, for instance, electron, my prediction is such a curve. So that's saying energy high, low, energy high, energy low, energy high, energy low. So that's the spin. It's not like, and also it's got little rotation as well is happening when it's moving, or maybe it's steady too. There's a rotation happening, but that's not gonna affect the magnetic moment. That doesn't produce any magnetic force. That's just for, I believe, is for deciding helicity and all that. We got an example as photon here. The electric field variation, the magnetic field, and I'm marking where is which period is a spin down, a spin up, a spin down. And here is showing how to prove how a photon consists of electron positron. This is electron, and this is positron. It's some sort of proof. When you combine them together in a reverse case scenario, it's going to be two curves as such. And the resulting curve is the middle curve, which is the photon curve. When you add them up together. It's some sort of proof. So electron positron, they don't get destroyed at annihilation. They just take off, become a photon. So as I mentioned, quantum field consists of cells, which is cell itself consists of two opposite pixels in polarity, and I think they don't have a spin. They're sort of static. As the matter formation, when the force passes through these cells, it creates density. If you have a such a force, positive, negative, I'm going to get different color. So you will have a spherical, starting from origin, spreading out. Positively concentrated and then negatively concentrated. And this spreads out in a spherical form. But if the temperature right, high enough, and other factors right enough, when the concentration happens, they get fused together. They get fused into each other, and when the force passes, they get relieved. They don't separate. They remain a clot, like a lump sum, a particle creation, electron and positron. That's why you come here. So this field, it satisfies every physics requirement. All the forces, all the phenomena, all the particles, just this field. As simple as this is. You don't need separate field. And the particles and virtual particle, what's the difference? Particles is the ones, elements already fused and taken away from the field, become particle. But the virtual particle are the ones, they trying to get fused, but they never get succeeded, and they go back to the quantum field. That's a virtual particle. Now electric field. What's the same field? What's happening? The scenario different. This different in scenario is the negative pixel starts moving towards the positive, and the positive pixel start moving towards the negative. And this rotation, chaos is happening as long as the field apply potential different. With magnet is almost the same. It's just a loop happening. Almost 100% loop happening. So again, minus goes to one side of the polarity, positive goes to the other side, and they go inside, loop like this in the opposite direction. And that's the detail about magnet. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We had a visitor, now he's gone. We're going back to recording. So after the magnet, we got defining the fabric of a space, which is wrong version. Einstein gave us space and time. The fabric of a space is actual quantum field. Is the fabric of a space. Now here I'm demonstrating how the charged particle operates in terms of emission, field around it. If you consider the field elements, cells everywhere in the space, vacuum, you place a particle, electron, this is an electron, you place the electron at the middle somewhere, it starts attracting the positive pixels and repelling the negative ones. So all the positives gets gathered around or infused inside, and remaining is gonna be negative pixels. That demonstrates, like, it shows like emitting negative charge, negative energy, but is in fact attracting the positive and remaining with the negative. It's showing the negative emission. Same with positron. It attracts the negative and leaves behind the positive energy as a cloud around it. And they got a spin, which we talk about. Here we mention quickly quantum entanglement, just something to fill up. It is not any sort of connection or virtual hidden parameter, hidden variables. It's just two synchronized entity. They follow the same timing manner, it's timing cycle perhaps. So it's two precise watch, for instance. If it's this one showing 12 o'clock, the other one definitely is 12 o'clock too. But it's two type comes in a closed system or open system. Closed system, like within the atom electron orbital, you get two electrons, they entangled. One is reverse up, reverse scenario in a state. But in this, if you disturb one electron, you're affecting the other one, because this always has to be opposite this, and they are in closed system. So if you hold this one holds to the spin. But when they spread apart or long distance, that's not valid anymore. If you disturb one electron, you're losing the synchronization. Superposition, again, is not possible, and particle to be in multi-state at the same time. This is just an assumption to focus on other thing in calculation. So this is just an assumption. Lack of the measurement device. The device showing multi-state, but doesn't mean it is really a state, because the trace remains by the time capacitor get discharged and so on in the device. It's showing the multi-state. But when you freeze the time, every time you freeze the time, you make a measurement, it shows the right state. That's when the function collapse happening. Photon and neutrinos is two different scenarios of the electron-positron combination. I haven't got it here. I draw it quickly. This is photon. It's a electron, sorry, positron, electron combined. It gives you the photon. And for neutrino, I believe that would be scenario. The positron, and it's synchronized, in sync. That's why it's very hard to detect, because these two always cancel each other and it remains absolute zero, the result. And then transition between photon and neutrino can happen if the electron-positron are not the identical mass. If it's slightly different mass, there would be a different wavelength. And at one position you get neutrino scenario, other position you get photon scenario. So it's a transition from neutrino to photon, back to neutrino, back to photon. It's cycle happening. just because their mass is not identical. Forces, fundamental forces. Fundamental forces should come from fundamental particles, should be related to fundamental particles only. Here in MIR interpretation, we consider only two basic fundamental, attraction and repulsion. Any other forces is a combination of these two, except gravity. So how is the attraction happens? As you place opposite charge in the field, electron starts attracting the positive pixel and positron start attracting a negative pixel. Because these pixels are joined already together, they're holding each other, so trying to separate them creates an attraction force. With repulsion of the same charged particle, two electrons you place to the field, so this one starts attracting the positive, remains negative behind. This one positive attracts positive, remains negative behind. So this middle is gonna be overflowed of negative, which later they cycle back, join together again, but there would be a region, concentration of negative, and it's growing, overloading. That's pushing them away. And gravity. Gravity comes to the picture at the stage of creation when you had charged particle, no gravity yet. Then when you have neutron formation, that's when the gravity starts, after neutron. Because it happens only between neutral object. If it's a charged object, it's electromagnetic. If it's neutral, it's a gravity. And each object it consists of electron positron in equal size. And in electron consume the positive, positron consume the negative, so the object consume both complete cell in a way, on average. So there is a fall of these elements to the object, fall this direction, and there would be a lack of concentration at the middle. Like a vacuum creates suction. That's why gravity is weak. The suction creates between two objects holding each other like in gravity. So far, that's what I have. I could have included a lot of other things. I just don't want to create a big mess. First, I want to put it under my name, which any other method possible, and then I can expand on writing and graphics and other concepts included for a big ingredient book. Thank you very much.